open proceedings by introducing them all to one another. One of the people Banks didn't know by either name or sight was the lawyer from the Crown Prosecution Service. Her name was Janine Francis, and she was not one of the CPS lawyers that he usually dealt with. The eighth person, still only vaguely familiar to Banks, was the County's Force's new media liaison officer, Adrian Moss, an ex-advertising agency up-and-comer and political spin doctor with a flowered tie, fresh-scrubbed youthful appearance, and a breezy, confident manner. A motley crew indeed, Banks thought, as he tried to imagine why they might all have been brought together under one roof. It had to be something big. "I know some of you must be wondering what all this is about," said the Chief Constable, "so I'll make it simple and get straight to the point. I assume you're all familiar with Operation U-Tree and its investigations into sexual abuse, predominantly against children and primarily by media personalities. In the wake of the Jimmy Savile business and the successful convictions of Rolf Harris, Gary Glitter, Dave Lee Travis and Max Clifford, among others, I'm sure you can imagine that a lot of past victims have been encouraged to come into the open over the matter of historical sexual abuse." Historical abuse. The words brought about an immediate sinking feeling in Banks's gut. A function of the political correctness of the times, historical abuse investigations were intended to right the wrongs of the past and to send the message that no matter how many years had gone by, if enough people cried foul, someone would be sent off. They were also a way of appeasing the victims of such crimes, of giving them a voice some of them had been seeking for years, and perhaps even closure, that much overused word, both of which Banks approved in principle. In practice, however, it often turned out to be a different matter, a witch hunt where victims were often disappointed and the reputations of innocent people sometimes went down in tatters. No detective in his right mind wanted to be part of a historical abuse investigation. Banks checked the faces of the others. Their expressions gave nothing away. Was he the only one who thought this way? Did it show? "I'd like to think we've all learned a thing or two from the way these incidents have been handled over the past couple of years," the CC went on. "And one of the things we should have learned by now is to keep things close to our chests. I ask you all not to speak of what's said in here to anyone outside this office, not even to your colleagues. Adrian?" Moss glanced from face to face. "Yes," he said. "No doubt you all know there's no way we can keep this from the media forever. They'll get hold of it eventually, if they haven't already. It's my job to make sure that nothing gets said to them by anyone involved unless it goes through me first. Am I clear?" He was obviously enjoying his temporary power over such an eminent gathering. Banks could tell from the triumphant expression on his face and the undertones of evangelistic delivery in his speech, and Banks didn't even know what this was yet. "Mistakes have been made in the past," Moss went on. "That business with the BBC cameras in position to film the raid on Cliff Richard's home before Sir Cliff knew about the search himself, for example, and we don't want any of that sort of behaviour dogging our footsteps. As you know, the investigation into Sir Cliff was dropped, and Paul Gambaccini had some harsh words to say about the way he was treated by the police. We've ended up with egg on our faces often enough. We have to make sure that that doesn't happen this time. When the media do come knocking, as they will, we want everything calm and by the book. Nothing they can get between their teeth and run with. Naturally, celebrities are of interest to them, and celebrity misdeeds are a manner for them. We not only have to prosecute this, we need to be seen to prosecute it. It won't take them long to get their nibs sharpened. I can tell you now, there's a media shitstorm due in the near future. My job, ladies and gentlemen, is to manage the flow of information, and to do that, I will need the cooperation of all of you. Everything goes through the press office. Is that clear?" He had a sheen of sweat on his forehead as he scanned the room. Most of those present beamed back at him. Moss was one of the chief constables and the police commissioner's golden boys. Now that the brass seemed far more concerned with publicity and image, people like him were more important to them than detectives, Banks thought. Burgess was the only one to appear unimpressed. The beginnings of that